Just as I hit the streaming button, my doorbell started ringing, which is great. Give me just a hot minute. Jeepers creepers. Okay, I'm back. This is a little bit of an impromptu stream. I recently got a second camera, which you can kind of see right here in the frame if you're watching. I got a second camera, and I was like, what's something I can do with the second camera? This is like a thing that I've been obsessed with for a while. If you've watched any Tabletop Gold content lately, you've maybe heard me complain about like how rare it is to, or like how difficult it is to get this vlogging camera that I've been obsessed with getting forever. I wound up just getting like a sort of cheaper one, an older one, because like ultimately I don't even know if this camera is going to make sense for us to do anything. But I got this camera yesterday and I've been messing around with it, and I figured out that this thing can function as a webcam. And I figured that there's something I could do on stream with a webcam that maybe people would find interesting. What is that? I'll tell you. It's doing a stream in which I paint stuff. I've got like I'll tell a little bit of a story. Years ago, there was like a Kickstarter for a board game called Marvel United that had a bunch of like hundreds and hundreds of Marvel characters attached to like a pretty good board game that I enjoy, like a very light cooperative board game that I think is really good. But I've been stuck in my tiny apartment with hundreds of these Marvel guys now, and the process of painting them has been difficult because I have no experience painting anything. So all because of that. That's all to say that I started learning how to paint stuff. And I got a bunch. I decided for myself that that getting like a full paint setup was not what I wanted to do, and that instead I wanted to paint with these speed paint markers. So I've got a whole collection of markers that I will show you in just a second. Hi, Mythic Seabass. What's happening today? I'm gonna paint some miniatures. Is what's happening, and I've got a camera set up. You can kind of see it right here. I got a water bottle, I got a camera, I've got my microphone at a sort of uncomfortable position because it's the best that I could figure out. Maybe I can swivel this thing around a little bit. Let me mess around with that for just a second. Gosh, this clamp is hard to undo. Oh, I'm glad everybody tuned in for the stream in which I struggle to do anything. Let's lift up my shirt. Let's get this thing going. Maybe I can get this microphone pointing up instead. Maybe that's a way to do it. That seems better. But this is all like a, what am I trying to say? This is all a little bit of an experiment. This is a little bit of a test run to see if this is something that I can even accomplish, which, as you can tell from the struggle that I'm going through right now just to get this microphone in an okay position, it's not a guaranteed win. There's no guarantee that this will work even a little bit. There's no guarantee that like when I try to paint stuff, the camera is going to be pointing in the right direction. There's a lot of unknown. There's a lot of known unknowns and unknown unknowns that I think we're contending with today, and it should be a good time. Let me switch over to the other comp, and you can kind of see the deal of what's going on. I currently have Magic, the famous Marvel character Magic, here on the slab. My wife just got home. That's fun. And I've got a whole bunch of other random ass jabronis here ready for me to paint with my markers. I can show my markers off for in a second if you'd like. Here come the markers. I'll show you the markers. I have three kinds of markers. I have speed paint markers, which you can see right here, in a variety of colors, ranging from the what's it called, Deep Cut Studio speed paint markers, and then also like homemade markers with made with. Let me pull one of these out. Made with like the Molotov or Molotov, maybe it's pronounced. markers. I've like filled them up with what am I trying to say? I filled them up with the Army Painter speed paints. On a whoa, there goes a camera. I knew that would happen eventually. The second page that I've got here is these markers that I don't really like all that much. These AK interactive play markers, which are filled with, which are like have a paint nib. I'll show you one of them. The metallics are actually kind of good. It has a brush nib, which is not getting focused on. It has a brush nib and it has like opaque paints, if you catch my drift. And you paint with them and they look kind of bad and they are very flat and I don't like them very much. And then I have these AK interactive, what are they called? They're called Real Colors. And these are like Sharpie tips that I'll show you right now. These are Sharpie tips that have very like flat colors and are pretty okay for doing like highlights and stuff like that. The color selection from AK, let's just say, sucks ass. This is, of course, the color collection from stream sponsor AK Interactive. Just kidding, they're not sponsoring anything. It's like tons of brownish greens and tons of greenish browns, and it's like, I get like, okay. I'm happy for somebody to enjoy painting with these. And then I've got these these Pigma microns, like a selection of those, mainly to do eyeballs is mainly the situation here with those pens. So what I'll do today is I will start with I'll start with some speed paint markers and start painting some jabronis. These are not like top drawer Marvel characters that I'm working with today. I need to, oh boy, I'm just spilling stuff everywhere. Okay, here we go. Hi Sunny, how are you? Do I need assistance? No, I mean, in life? Probably. Do I need a paper towel? Yeah, I love a paper towel. What a great choice. Thank you, Sunny. It's been a while since I painted, so any one of these, you sat through 10 ads. Yeah, there's probably a way for me to control how many ads people see. Thank you so much, Sunny. You're so kind. What's that? She can do her part, yes. There's probably a way for me to change ads. It's not like we're making any significant money off of ads anyway, so like, what are we even talking about? Give me a second. Let me look at these ads real quick. Moderate, slow-mo, screen, rate channel. Okay. Well, that turned up very little, is what I'll tell you. Let me see if there's something over here that I can use to turn off ads. I don't know, man. I'm sorry. Here's the promise I can make to you on the ad front is that whatever it is that's happening here today is going to be happening very slowly. So you're not going to miss very much if you do see an ad. Just give me a second. How to change Twitch ad frequency. What do I do? I go into the creator dashboard. Isn't this fun that we're just figuring it all out? This is how the sausage gets made. I go to the creator dashboard. Okay, done. I go to settings. Done. Then I go to affiliate/partners/ that doesn't exist. Thank you, Google AI. I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you, brother. My stream settings, dual format, not doing that yet. That could be kind of fun to do eventually, to do dual format where you can look at it vertically or horizontally on your thing. Isn't that cool? Wouldn't that be fun? Monetization, I found it. Ads. Welcome to the new ads manager. View tutorial. No thanks. How many ad minutes per hour? Let's kick that down to low. We're on the low end. I've got a potential revenue increase. I might make 3 cents off of this stream if I kick it up to be how many minutes per ad? 5 per hour? 5 minutes per hour? I don't think people want that. All right. Sorry, everybody. I'm down to a minute of ads per hour. So that should take care of that'll be about a third of the amount that you've been seeing just now. Although there's a possibility that now that I've changed the settings, it's going to be like add as we try to strap in on the new frequency. Okay, enough about this bullshit. Nobody cares about ads. Can we move on and get into the proper thing? Yes, of course we can. Here's what's going to happen today, I believe, is that we are going to be painting, and by we I mean I'm going to be painting I'm going to be painting multiple jabronis at once. I got Magic here. Magic, we gotta, that's, okay. Everybody chill out. The camera can't see that. So let's point the camera. Okay. I dropped the camera at a certain point and repositioned it. Oh, brother. Okay, so we got Magic here. I can paint Magic pretty, I think that's going to be a pretty fun time. Probably. Getting this microphone in position is difficult, but I think that we're muddling through it. We're figuring it out. The problem is, can I see Magic enough to paint her and also have her on camera at the same time? And the answer to that question may surprise you. It's no. I can lean down and get Magic in position, but then I lose my microphone. Golly, this is tricky. It's a tricky sort of three-dimensional space puzzle taking place in three-dimensional space, which is, of course, the, the reality that we all live in. I guess I have to scooch my chair in a little bit. Is that good? Do I like this? Glad you've given up all that insane ad revenue for the little folks. Yeah. Obviously, I'm a man of the people. Is this shit starting to come loose? Is my microphone about to collapse onto the floor? I don't know, maybe. Okay, so there's this. There's Magic. We like Magic. We all believe in Magic, obviously. Get the microphone a little bit closer. Great. On the other slab, I've got, I believe, Domino, the famous X-Force character Domino. We could paint her. I've got a couple other people primed. I've got Husk, also from X-Force / The New Mutants. I don't know who this is. I think this might be Wong from Doctor Strange. Oh, goodbye, Magic. She's dead. I don't know who this lady is. She might be an Inhuman or something like that. She seems like a cool lady, but we could paint her too. If anybody knows who that is, shout out who you want me to paint is basically the situation. I've got this character named Iron Man here. He's sort of like a famous guy. His name is Iron Man. He's made out of metal and what have you. Let's see. I've got Iceman First Class, and I've got Chamber from, of course, the Generation X comic, which I read when I was a child because I'm on the cusp of Generation X. We've got this dude. We got Agent Venom, Flash Thompson himself. We've got this guy who looks like Captain America but has a ridge on his head, and I don't know, like he's probably like some Soviet dude or something. I've got Captain Britain. I got Betsy Braddock as Captain Britain. We all love her. Formerly known as Psylocke, now she's known as something else. Let's see. We got whoever the fuck this is. She's some kind of a lady with she punches a guy probably. I don't know who this dude is. He looks like he's from Xenoblade Chronicles. He's probably Shulk from Xenoblade Chronicles. I don't know. We got Sam Wilson as Captain America, the Captain America Falcon Man. And then I think there are two more. I might be missing one or two of them. We've got whoever this is. We all love her. She's a lady who stands on a rock. We think she's cool. And then we've got Daken, who is like Wolverine's son, who I've recently learned from reading the Inglorious X-Force comic book, which is a famous comic book published by Marvel, the Marvel Comics Publishing Company. His name is Helverine. He lights on fire and becomes a demon or something. He's not Helverine coded in this particular model, but you know, he is in the world. I think that part of my issue with the view may actually have to do with these glasses that I'm wearing. These glasses have a light on them, which may make everything better or may make everything worse. But it does exist, and you got to give it props for that. My other option is to wear reading glasses, which look like this, That may be like a more sort of three-dimensional up-close way for me to do things, but I am missing the light. So here's what I need from everybody is feedback. Tell me which homeboy you want me to paint, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to, right now, start with Magic because she's cool. I like Magic. The first comic book I ever read, or the first, I probably shouldn't just show you my phone. The first X-Men comic book I ever read was like this series of the what am I trying to say? The unadjectived X-Men comic in which Magic was like they changed her from being a teenager to being like a little kid, and this is not even Magic. This is Darkchild, everybody. So they changed her from being a teenager to being a little girl, and then they just like killed her. They just like straight up gave her the legacy virus and she died. And I was like, oh snap, characters die in comics. There's like a little kid who died in this comic book. But it turned out she wouldn't be dead for long, nor would she be a kid for long. She went back to being a cool teenager or whatever, and now she's all over the comic books. Isn't it crazy how life goes? Isn't life crazy? Okay, I'm just like right now looking. What am I doing? You're asking me? I'll tell you. I'm looking up just like a picture of what this character looks like with paint on them. Not getting it, not finding it. So just give me a second. Can everybody please relax for once? I'm tired of all this pressure that everybody's putting on me. Jesus. Okay, we got to figure this out. There she is. I found her. I found the guide. I'll show you the guide. Here's the guide. That's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be making her look like that. Paint the Shulk guy as Shulk Xenoblade. If anybody knows who this Shulk dude is, who is obviously not Shulk, let's stop joking around. Where is that dude? There he is. If anyone knows who this guy is, give me a shout out. You can't see him. This guy. If anybody knows who this dude is, let me know. He's got like a safety strap on his sword, which is awesome. Good for him. Okay, we're gonna start with Magic. And here's the deal with her. She is maybe I need better magnification. Maybe my eyes have gotten bad enough that I need some magnification. Okay, so the deal with her is I've already painted her a little bit, and I've got some like stuff that sucks there. Like I've got some mispainted stuff. So the first thing I'll do, and I'm gonna rotate through a bunch of guys, is I'm gonna drop something on the floor. Is the first thing I'm gonna do. Motherfucker. Okay, all good. Everybody relax. I'm gonna do white paint from this AK paint marker on the parts that I don't want to be painted. So how are we doing on framing? Gosh, this is hard. Okay, so the framing needs to be more like, I'm kind of finding where I want the camera to be by where it is that I want to paint. I'm having to like paint for a little bit and then reposition the camera. So give me a shout. I'm like having a little bit of trouble seeing everything I have to do at the same time. Right. Like for instance, that's not helpful to anybody. I guess what I need is, what would be awesome is, I don't know if this shit. Okay. So I'm like just too zoomed in. Can I zoom out? No, that's not zoom. Everybody relax. We're going to zoom out. Nope, that's in. Okay. So the problem is I was just trying to get too tight on the thing and it made too small a target for me. So this guy's going to be smaller on the, little smaller on the feed, but that's just the way that it goes sometimes. And I've gotten this, part of the thing of using these paint markers is I have like a pretty imprecise ability to target specific things. The paint markers are relatively small, but they're not super small. And as such, I wind up repainting stuff many, many times because as I'm trying to get into the nooks and crannies of like the background or of the base of the thing, I wind up painting things that I want to ultimately not have paint on. And so because I'm using transparent speed paint markers, what that means is that I need to white everything out pretty regularly because my white is significantly more precise than the rest of my colors. And these flat, like AK acrylic markers don't want to spread out and cover everything the way that the speed paint markers do. So a lot of the most precise work that I do winds up being like with the white that needs to come in and fix problems. Do you get what I'm saying? Let's scoot this in a little bit more. I have this vise with a head that can rotate and work super well for getting weird angles on things. All right, man. That's cool. The issue that I have with getting on weird angles is really just about the tip of the marker. Like it's not that I have trouble reaching things necessarily. It's that you know, the brushes are bulky. Why am I painting with brushes? That's a question I ask myself every day. Let's see, what do we want to do? We like painting inside out. Like we like painting things that are deep in the thing first so that we can clean up mistakes that go on the way in. So what do we have on the inside of this? We got her sword is number one with a bullet. Like getting into this crevice behind her head is an issue. Like that area back there, which you can maybe see a little bit. This area here, I've got a macro lens. Do you want me to throw the macro lens onto this thing just so I can do extreme close-ups? Maybe this is, listen, we're experimenting. Let me put this lens up on this piece. This area in here that I'm talking about, that right there, that's the doom zone. That whole thing there is where a lot of the troubles are going to come from. Macro lens, worth its purchase price. Everybody said I was crazy for getting a macro lens, and I showed them. I sure showed them. Okay, so I think we're going to start with this sword. One thing that you may need to know is that I am antagonistic to technique. I don't like blended colors. I can't mix colors with the markers. I don't like the way miniatures look when they're painted well. I only like the way miniatures look when they're painted flatly. I don't like lighting effects on minis, really. Maybe shadow effects are okay. My feeling is light's going to be shining on this thing anyway. So let's let the light that exists in the real world have the effect that it's going to have. Okay, so for this sword, it's flat. It's not, doesn't have any texture to it. So I'm tempted to start with the AK, the flat AK marker, and then add like highlights from there to give this like a different look from the rest of her sort of more three-dimensional look. So let's do that. I don't have a lot of different colors to work with here. I've got this like really shitty looking peach color. Let's see how that goes. Let's see how that looks. Let's do a little test, a little peach test on the soda cap. Is this color here a color that we want for Magic Sword? And like kinda, let's try it. She's also got like a hard black on her sword, so we'll see what happens, but I'm just gonna do my best here. Yeah, this is like fine, right? I figure what we could do here then is like maybe put a fluorescent yellow on the inside of it rather than putting like I had the option to do a base coat that was lighter and then do darker edges basically. Or I have but I think that the way that we're going with, because we have this peach, which seems like a good color to work with, I think what we're going to do instead is do a darker base coat and then put some fluorescent on top of it, which might be kind of a cool way to make the difference in color look more glowy, if that makes sense. every once in a while I have to like look up at my monitor to see, am I actually showing anything on the screen right now? I'm a little bit flying blind. The ideal thing to do would be to put a monitor on my phone. So I guess I'll try to do that. I guess I'll try to monitor on my phone, and well, that makes it smaller. Okay, can I go full screen on my phone, my goddamn phone? Who's to say? Maybe if I go to a different menu. Oh, brother. This? Do I want this? No. I guess this is just the way it's going to be. That's as good as it's going to get. Okay, great. And I don't even know if this... Okay, whatever. Who cares? Stream on the phone, monitor on the phone. It's a fun idea, but it doesn't really work. And yeah, here we go. Yeah, and like I'm trying to monitor my phone. That shit's not even working, and I can't even see the guide that I'm using anyway, so forget it. Okay, so now we're getting into the danger zone. I'm going to get a lot of peach on stuff that I don't want to get peach on. But that's just the way it goes sometimes. Yeah. I have to white a bunch of that stuff out. I guess this black stuff on her sword does not extend all the way to the blade. So we got to make sure we got the blade all the way painted. Yeah. That's cool. If anybody has any thoughts on their favorite X-Men, just like desperately trying to find some engagement. Like, hey everybody, what's your, I don't know, favorite fucking comic character? You guys like comics? I've been reading a lot of comics lately. I, for some reason, made the decision to get like up to date on ongoing superhero comics. Kind of like, now that nobody cares about Marvel movies anymore, now's the time to get up to date on stuff. This is maybe like a personality defect of mine. I did kind of do this all the time. Like once something stops being popular, I'm like, maybe it's time to really get into this thing. I did this maybe explains why I got into Dungeons and Dragons at the tail end of 4th edition, with the essentials, which like made even 4th edition people upset. I was like, this is my shit. It's time. Now is the time, I said. I need to put some black leather on this lady. I question whether we do black leather first or we do skin tone first. And I think the answer is that we do black leather first. So the black leather, because it has a contour and because it's attached to her body, I've considered reading some of the recent X-Men stuff, but I don't know where I want to start. Okay. Here's one. This is one person's opinion. X-Men is pretty soft right now. There is good X-Men stuff, but there's like it's not a the consensus opinion is that this is not a great time for the X-Men. The two main ongoing series that have stuck around since the end of the Krakoa situation. I'm using this like occultist cloak paint now, which I've got with a 50-50 blend with the speed paint medium. This paint is best if it does one coat and that's it. This is a paint that I want to paint quickly with and then fix mistakes on and then never go back and repaint. So we're going to be painting a little bit fast and loose with this one. But the two main ongoing X-Men books are Jed MacKay's X-Men without an adjective and Gail Simone's Uncanny X-Men. They are both kind of slow burns. I will admit that I have pretty much dropped the Jed MacKay book. Maybe to go back to it at some point if the critical consensus decides that it's gotten really good. The Gail Simone book, however, I think is really, really fun. The Gail Simone book is like the X-Men have relocated to New Orleans and are living in like a house on the bayou. And they're trying to get a new, like they've got a collection of new mutants. Spoilers. Who, need to be taught how to be a weirdo or whatever. It's pretty good. The team in that book is Wolverine. I don't know why I started with Wolverine. He's not the lead on the show and on the comic. The team is Rogue, Gambit, Jubilee, Wolverine, and Nightcrawler. And it's good. It's got a bunch of zany stuff in it. It's got like a real freewheeling kind of vibe. Happy paint time to you, of course, and yours, to all of those who celebrate paint time. Yeah, so I'm sort of kicking the ball down the field on this occultist cloak. This is not the best marker. I don't particularly care for this marker. I don't like how dull the marker gets because of how thick occultist cloak is as a color. Occultist cloak as a color lacks nuance. And just, there we go. We got tons now. We got tons in this little cap thing. I feel like this marker works best when it is flowing freely versus when it is being a little stodgy. It can get streaky if you're not really saturating the area. So I'm being real sloppy right now. Partly, I'll explain to you the factors that are leading to this sloppiness. One, lack of talent. We got to get that one out of the way. I don't really know what I'm doing. I am not very good at this. I do it as a way to relax. And I do not prioritize skill over really anything. The other is, I already established that this occultist cloak needs to go on quickly, and I only want to put it on once. I would like to get everything that needs to be black, black. And if that means that I have to repaint other things that should not be black later, so be it. You'll see that we got some black on this skull. That's just the way that it goes. This, having a little trouble getting around this sword. Making a big mess, but that's just kind of what we signed up for here. Yeah, so like that, I had to do a little touch up there. I want to do that as little as possible. I want to do as few extra spots as possible because when you put, let's see, what are the pauldrons want to be black also, but I'm going to do those with a flat color to make them pop out a little bit more. I'm having a little bit of trouble getting clarity on what of her arm should be black, so I'm just going to do it all black for now. And now I'm just sort of scanning around, looking for spots that I missed. Because I do not want to go back to this marker. think that wants to be exposed skin. Yeah, there's an area down here. We're just going to fill in on her armpit with the black and then go in later and fix it. Yeah, so I've got a lot of I've got a lot of fixing to do. But I'm just trying to get everything covered right now. Yeah, the back of her boot is an issue. Issue resolved. The bottom of her feet are an issue. Issue more or less resolved. Got an area back here that needs a little attention. And as you can see, she is now a mess. Is there anything else I want to get going on the black? Maybe. Do I want to do the hilt of her sword in black? Not really. I don't think there's, I don't want to do, I want to put silver in her hair. I want to do the hilt, not, I guess it's the hilt of her sword in gunmetal. I want to do the stuff on her head in gunmetal. I want to do the spikes. Okay. So right now we're in a situation, and this is why we're rotating stuff through. Right now we're in a little bit of a situation where it's like, this needs to dry. I can't do more with her right now. I can't do more. There we go. I can't do more with her right now because I've got all this like area underneath her chin that I need to white out. And I can't do white until the black is dry. So we're moving on to somebody else. If anybody has somebody that they would like me to paint, give me a shout out. Since I've got the occultist cloak out now, I guess I could do Domino. Domino's certainly going to have plenty of that color, given that that's like her whole thing. Domino, though, needs to be whited out. So we're going to rotate maybe through three guys. We're going to do a 3-man rotation. Like you would typically see in a highlight match, perhaps. I don't know. I'm guessing about the rules of highlight. I'm not really sure. So I've already done the base on this guy with my preferred base color, which is a gray called Runic Gray. And this has gotten a little bit of extra gray on stuff that I want to be white. So we're going to white that stuff out right now. Just around the base, not a big deal, but this is going to have to dry. So we're going to rotate to somebody else. Who do we think? Who do we think? Betsy Braddock is calling to me. Maybe we should do Betsy Braddock. So we're going to unscrew Domino. Goodbye, Domino. We're going to put her here. Maybe we'll put her on the bottom for an exciting, like, you know what I mean? Like, it gives you a fun visual as you wait for something to dry. So let's put Magic down there as well, so you get to see her in the background. Isn't that a good time? Let's toss Betsy Braddock up on this bitch. Sorry, up on this piece. And let's also get Sam Wilson going too. Why not? So Sam, I'm going to have to do some searching on my phone. I apologize. Talk amongst yourselves. Hi, it's me. I just got to find the, I got to find guides for these guys. I got to see what these guys actually look like. So give me a second. Sam Wilson painted Marvel's Captain America. Right? Marvel United. Classic. It's just a classic Google search that we're doing right now. And it's working out great. I also recently started reading the, here we go, Captain America, Sam Wilson. What set is he from? He's from the season 3 stretch goals, which means hopefully that we've got a painted version of him right here. We do. Okay, cool. I also started recently trying to read the Chris Claremont X-Men series, which is sort of like regarded as like the canonical X-Men series, and I'm enjoying it okay. But I do find it a little bit hard to read old comics. Like, I'm so accustomed to new school kind of stuff that reading stuff that like looks really old, like I do feel like I think I have bad taste. Captain Britain, Betsy Braddock, Marvel United, because like when I hear people talking about movies and they're like, I can't watch anything more than 20 years old, I'm like, you absolute Philistine, you garbage person who should be ashamed of yourself for your terrible taste. I have that sort of opinion about comic books, and I think it makes me feel like maybe being judgmental is not the thing that I should be doing. But yeah, like the way that current comics are colored, where there's so many colors and they're like so painterly and so sophisticated and so beautiful and stuff. I'm just like, this looks awesome. Like comics look so good now that when I see like old style 4-color comics, I just like kind of can't do it, and I feel like a moron for that. Okay, we're going to start with Sam because Sam uses some of my favorite colors to use. So let's get that going. Let's get going with Sam. With Sam, we're going to do two different things. We're going to use this sand golem paint as like a as an absolute base. Sorry. First, we're going to do a ring of runic gray around the bottom. Little ring around the bottom kind of situation. We're just going to do a little bit of this. Just like that. I just like to get everything ringed in gray. I don't really know why. Some people, when they're painting this game, they do like blue for good guys and red for bad guys because that's the colors that the game uses. I don't really like it. I don't really want to do that. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I really like it when things evoke the 4-color style, but yeah, they definitely look whack. Yeah, so like I really like, and this is maybe I'm exposing my poor taste. I do think that like ultimately I have bad taste and I'm in the wrong, and I think like really sophisticated consumers of comics like have a better sense of this stuff than I do. I really like it in current comics when they like drop when they drop like textures in. Recent Amazing Spider-Man run by Joe Kelly has occasionally has artwork by Pepe Larraz, and that Pepe Larraz, let me tell you something, that kid's going somewhere. He's got like he does evoke like the sort of classic 4-color style at times, but he'll load all of his artwork in with like these crazy textures and like, you know, ersatz print effects and stuff like that. And it's just so much fun. It just is like, it's such a great looking comic. Like his art is so amazing. He'll do things where it's like that run of comics, one of the central gimmicks in it is that the narratives are offset. Like the present day narratives are offset against Peter Parker remembering back to like the sliver of his backstory that hasn't previously been covered in the prior 60 plus years of Spider-Man comics, where it's like a lot of he remembers things that happened to him in middle school, sort of like in the time leading up to the beginning of the Spider-Man continuity, you know, with him in high school or whatever. And in the first of these arcs that in this Joe Kelly series, I got to take a look at this mic stand. I feel like it's about to fall off. It's like he's fighting a guy. And as he's fighting a guy, he like has memories. He's returning to like pertinent memories of his time in middle school. And it's like the intercutting of, and the way he uses color to switch back and forth between like this current day fight and the flashback that is thematically significant to the fight is like, it's just incredible. Okay, speaking of incredible, we're about to use my favorite color, which is this pallid bone. It's so watery. It fills gaps so nicely. This is like a little dust explosion that is coming out from underneath Sam. And I love this color. Everything you do with it looks awesome. It's so watery. It fills in the gaps so beautifully. Using it is a joy. Everything that I said about occultist cloak, let's say the reverse of it for Pallid Bone. Pallid Bone fucking owns. We love Pallid Bone, don't we? Oh, I'm not, you can't see it. Okay, sorry. We love Pallid Bone, don't we, folks? You see, I feel like you can even see it on camera, kinda, can't you? Can you see how awesome this color is? It just works. The marker is always in good shape. You know, you get what I'm saying. Can you still see it? Yes, you can. Okay. This plume of dust, I guess, goes all the way up to his rocket. So I'm just gonna do everything in here in Pallid Bone, and then I guess we'll fix it when we gotta fix it. Having a little bit of trouble keeping my light from smashing into my camera. If stuff looks okay, please let me know. Pallid Bone is a top 10 color. Yeah, it's good. And it's also like really nice because it's so light, so you can like mask it really easily. I'm just going to double check these edges. I'm going to sort of overpaint the edges a little bit just so that we have them. Got some problems back here, like some of my gray kind of like bumped into other stuff, so I'll probably have to mask that out and fix it later. It's okay. Not a big deal. So this is really wet. It's got to dry. So we're going to move on from Sam. And we're going to move on to who? I'll tell you. To Betsy. What does Betsy's situation look like? She's got like she's got all this like green and blue on her base. It's sort of a bigger issue than I realized it was. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to move on from Betsy really quick. We're just going to rotate through these guys real fast. And we're just going to do this gray ring on Betsy and move on. Can we see? We can see. Okay, good. This is what I should have done for Sam. I should have moved on after the gray ring so that I didn't have that problem with the clouds, but I didn't do it. So what are you going to do? Okay, let's take a look at Magic and see if we're ready to return to her. Not quite. We're going to add a 5th figurine into the rotation. Who's it going to be? Let's see. Let's do Agent Venom. Agent Venom has a huge base because he's up on this big rock. Please give me a moment while I figure out how to do this guy. Agent Venom, Marvel United. What box is he from? I'm guessing he's from the Season 3 stretch goals. Oh, he's mostly black. Interesting. Right, because he's Agent Anti-Venom now in the comics, so I got confused. Yeah, comic books are pretty dumb. Agent Anti-Venom is a pretty ridiculous idea for a guy, but he's kind of cool. I don't know. I like him. I like Flash Thompson. I like a redemption story from a jerk. Okay, so this guy's standing on a big stone, and we got to do a ring around him, and we got to do the stone. I've got a couple colors in what I call these dump markers, which are like chisel tip markers that just dump lots of paint out, and I just use to try to like speed paint the hell out of everything. I have 2 dump markers. I've got for my 2 base colors that I tend to use. I've got a dump marker for Runic Gray, which is my most used color, and I've got a dump marker for this Sandy Golem, which is my second most used color. And I'm basically just going to dump the hell out of Flash Thompson with this Sandy Golem marker. He's coming off the backing a little bit. I got this rebar. The rebar is going to get painted in a metallic. Metallics are very easy to paint with, so I'm just going to tell you right now, I don't care if I get Sandy Golem on them at all. I'm happy for these to get the sand paint on them because I'm going to redo all the rebar once this Sandy Golem dries. I'm going to redo it with some gunmetal paint, and it's not going to be an issue. Nobody will care. In part because nobody cares, period. But in greater part because it's an opaque paint, unlike the rest of the transparent paints that we're using. I think what I'm going to wind up doing is letting this sand golem dry, and then I'm going to come in and do the ring at the base for the runic gray. I have a question for you. Do you get a million spam calls every day about somebody reviewing your tax forms, or is that just me? It's the kind of thing that, like, the first time I saw it, I very nearly bit on the scam. I was like, oh shit, my tax forms. And ultimately I didn't. But I get roughly 15 calls every day from people saying, hi, this is Jimmy Matthews from the tax department, and we need to talk to you about your taxes, dude. Your whole tax situation is really messed up. You got to talk to me. And I get that call from about 300 different names. They're pretty much the only phone calls that I get is these people talking to me about taxes and what have you. Okay, so we got an issue here with Flash's hand, which maybe you can see here. Hi, this is Stacy Ball. I left you a message yesterday regarding your tax inquiry. That's literally just a phone call I just got. I got to paint this dude's hands sandy golem color because I have to get into the space behind the hands. So he's a sizable portion of Mr. Thompson is just going to get painted the wrong color. And we're going to have to fix that later. Oh no, I've got some shrapnel from the paintbrush right here, from the marker. Okay, and it's back on the thing. Okay, this is going on this paper towel that I got back here. Okay, cool. So I'm about to have to switch over to the smaller marker. I'm getting a little bit irritated because this guy's coming off of his backing. He's not the goop that I have him sticking onto this thing with isn't working. So I'm going into the smaller brush now to same color to kind of get into the spots I couldn't get into. This is a particularly messy situation right here because there's all kinds of stuff under all kinds of other stuff, and I just need coverage with this color quickly while it's still drying. So I'm just looking for spots that need the sand golem color that don't have it. And I'm getting it covered, and that's really all I care about. It's like there's a spot under his hand right there. There's a big spot under his tentacle that I really need to get. That tentacle is going to be an issue. I need to think about what kind of color I want to do it with. I think it has to kind of be the occultist cloak. So this situation here where I've got these like highly jointed things and I just need to bleed color in and then get out and get in, that's going to be like a bunch of repainting ultimately. All right. That is it for Flash. We're going to move on. Let's take another look at Magic and see if she's ready to go. Yeah, I think so. Magic is dry enough for us to keep going. So we're gonna go back to the white. We're gonna go back to the white paint to repaint this jabroni. Okay, so I gotta look at where the I gotta look at where the occultist cloak went that it shouldn't have gone. And I gotta repaint it. This marker, if you can't tell, is looking pretty gnarly. It's got a bunch of strands that are out of place. It makes it kind of hard to use. I have others. This is my most reordered marker, the white AK interactive play marker. I have gotten maybe 5 or 6 of them so far on this project. This slow ongoing project. Because these brushes, although they are relatively fine, they do degrade pretty quickly. It's really easy to like slam some of the marker into, or some of the brush into the cap, which makes them fray apart and it makes them suck. That has happened with this particular marker. That's why it's all messed up right now. Sometimes what I'll do is just like trim parts of the brush off. This is not the best coverage up here, so I'm just getting a little more coverage to make up for a kind of bad prime job. Yeah, I've had it with this one. I don't like it. It's not working great. We got to get rid of it. It's too hard to work with. So instead, let's pull out this brand new one, which has no paint in it at all. You push this little button on the back of it to make it go. I got a paper towel. I'm going to shake it a little bit, and then I'm going to hit this button to pump it out. And then I'm going to saturate this son of a gun. One more pump. We're fine. It's fine. And now, look. It's beautiful. The button thing's cool. I mean, these markers are idiosyncratic and kind of messed up. Okay, I'm getting no paint right now. I need to do a little bit more. Sorry. Yeah, these markers are finicky and temperamental. However, I think the idea, like I feel as though even if I were not mysteriously committed to using markers like I am, I believe that I would still be using this white AK Interactive marker to fix mistakes, because there's something very nice about just being able to reach for something that whites everything out and just solves my problems. This thing does not have quite enough paint on it. It's like not particularly opaque right now. Trying to fix that up. I'm also trying to cover up mistakes with the occultist cloak, which is a very dark color. So this might need multiple coats of fixer. But right now I'm basically just looking at magic, trying to find spots that are the wrong color and just painting over them. So like some of this peach got on her hair, so we're gonna pull the peach off her hair. And I'm just gonna do this for a while. And then later on, I'm essentially going to go through a step that involves like, let's see where I've got white, and then let's repaint those spots. This marker is pretty good for doing pretty sharp borders. Which I enjoy. I'm still a little bit dissatisfied with how much paint I have on this marker. I kind of don't understand how that's happening. I feel like I've really filled the tip with white, but it's just not very white right now. Maybe I should also shake it. Doesn't seem like it's doing anything. I don't know. It's fine. It's just going kind of slow. Lee. I got some dried schmutz from the dump marker. So now I have some sort of hard choices to make. There's a spot behind her foot that got black on it. I guess I'm just going to redo it. Okay, the white's coming up better now. A lot of areas on the sandy base that got black on it. So we're going to get rid of that. I'm going to repaint this skull a few more times. I don't really care about fixing this area back here by the sword because that's going to be repainted in an opaque color anyway. We want to get this area here in her stomach better. There's like a really uneven border down here. Same with this area here, where we're eventually going to do a skin color. Got some kind of ugly stuff on the bottom of her hair here. This is getting there, though. This white is not coming out very thick at all right now, which is kind of bugging me. I don't really know why that is. I'm really using this button a ton. It's okay, it's a brand new marker. It's got plenty of paint in it. And also I probably just need to accept that I kind of just need to accept that these brushes die, or sorry, these markers die, not because they've run out of paint, but because the brush has gone. So I don't think I need to worry too much about using too much paint. Because the tip gets ruined before the paint runs out. Okay, I've gotten a little bit too aggressive here. This area right here, I've got an area that should be black that shouldn't have gotten colored over with white that did, which is a bit of a bummer. I'm going to touch up this area here that eventually is going to be black. I'm not sure whether I'm doing these little spots on her sword in opaque black or not. I kind of think I am, so I probably don't need to touch that up. The area on her legs still looks bad. Boundary on her stomach still looks bad, and there's an area back here that needs to not be black. All right. I'm not happy yet. Yeah, the boundary between her, like, leather gear and her skin, it's really tough. Because the leather is, like, pretty intricate and ornate. And the skin tone markers are tough to use. They're not the most forgiving colors to use. And I'm also just feeling like this white is really transparent right now for some reason. I mean, for how frayed the other white marker was, it at least was white. All right, we're going to move on from magic. Who's next in the rotation? Domino. I just nudged my camera. Good Ileana time. Agreed. Oh yeah, and it's not magic. It's Darkchild. I forgot. It's a different mini. I already did the magic mini a long time ago. Okay. I'm just gonna check my reference images for a second. Please hold. Please stand by. To see if I can find a my domino marker or domino. I don't think I have a domino saved. Okay, give me a second. Let me find a domino reference. So what am I looking for? Domino. I'm looking for X-Force painted marbles. And Google has gotten horrible. Which is great. Okay. We found it, everybody. Unless Domino is not in the X-Force set, in which case we are out of luck. There she is. Okay, cool. So with Domino, we're going to be using a lot of white just like on her face. She's just going to be white. I think the thing that we got to do is the thing that we did before, which is Occultist Cloak. That's right. This painting stream is going to be entirely me painting things black and then me painting things white. Okay, so Domino wears black gloves, black pants, mostly. The inside of her pants are white, and she has black hair, and she has a black patch on her eye. So, we're going to start with the outside of her pants. This boundary between black and white is going to be iffy and is not going to get cleaned up until we go in and fix it. Again, the deal with this black marker is that I got to move quickly and I got to use a lot of paint really fast because it layers really aggressively. Like this marker, this color wants to be, wants to not have any nuance, and it just wants to be dark, and it just wants to color everything. So what that means is, what is her? Okay, what that means is that I really want to do just one coat. Like I really don't want to redo. Like if I touch the marker to a thing to make it this black, I want it to stay that way. Okay, her sleeves are all black. She has a metal band here, but metallics are opaque paints, so I don't mind painting over them again. I don't need to be precise about that at all. And her entire sleeve is black, so we can just go nuts and just put tons of black paint on. And we can really get in there. This gun in her hand is also metallic. Metallics are not an issue. So we can repaint that because metallics are opaque. Not a problem. I'm running out of paint on this brush tip, so I gotta get a little bit more. I broke the seal on this earlier, so it should be pretty easy to get more black paint on it. Oh boy. This is a mess, but it is covered with paint, so that's good. Her shirt is black, so we can just go nuts with that. She's got black leather straps, and her shoulder pads, her pauldrons or whatever, are pink. So we want to try to paint around those. However, everything in this model is just so tight that it's, I think, better for us just to overpaint it and fix it later. She has black hair with blue highlights. I'm going to just get her hair in this black right now, and we'll come up with a solution for how to get the highlights looking good later. But I do know that all of this wants to be black. This is our black, so we're doing it black. I'm going to be careful around the boundary of her face because this boundary is a light color on a dark color. So regardless of how much I try to clean it up, it's still going to kind of look like shit. So I'm just trying to be trying to do as little harm as I can here. I might eventually want to go in and do a second layer of Occultist Cloak on her to try to give her some shadows on her hair. Boundary on her face just got kind of boned. It's okay. Not happy with having to do basically a second layer on her arm there. Wish that had not been the case. But yeah, the way that her color scheme is like black and white is gonna make this a really tricky model. This is probably not gonna come out being one of the most attractive models that I've done. But you never know until you try. All right, I just knocked over a bottle. That's cool. All right, here's where we're leaving Domino. She's covered in black, and we'll fix her later. Let's see who else we want to rotate towards right now. Let's see. We got Sam up in this piece. He needs a little bit of fixing, potentially. Betsy, we left at just a gray ring. So she's maybe ready for some more stuff, potentially. I don't know. What are we feeling? I think Darkchild still needs a little bit of time to percolate, so we're going to give her some more time. I think Agent Venom isn't ready. I think it's Sam. And I feel like a little bit of a goober being like, check out this stream. I'm going to paint everything white, and then I'm going to paint everything black, and then I'm going to paint everything white again. However, that is the reality that we find ourselves in, and there's no reason to resist it. So right now, I've got all this bone paint on stuff that shouldn't have any bone paint on it. And I'm going to fix it up. I'm really getting annoyed with this white paint not being opaque. I don't know if the issue is that it needs more paint. I don't know. But that's the only lever I have to pull, so I'm just going to put more paint on the brush. This one's pretty good. There's like some stuff that needs work. I'm not sure exactly what color I'm going to paint his wings. I don't know if he gets a metallic on the wings or not. I just don't know the character that well. We'll see. I feel as though this white paint is doing pretty much nothing. But now I have way too much white paint, and that's doing something. I've got a little bit of an unprimed spot here below his, between his jets and his back. So I'm going to go in there. Sort of a sloppy prime job on his face. I'm going to repaint that just to get it a little bit. Ooh, very sloppy prime job on his wrists. I don't know if you can see that. There's like blue showing down there. Let's put some more paint on this brush, huh? Why not? One of the selling points of these AK play markers is I think that they're meant to be usable like on your board games, even if you don't prime them. I don't know if that's actually anything, if there's anything to it scientifically that makes that the case, or if that's just marketing. But it can be kind of helpful if I have exposed plastic like that. It can be kind of helpful to use this white marker just to fill in a little bit. Let's take a look at this base. Oh yeah, we've got these problems down here. We found those earlier. These bits where the cloud and the gray sort of interact, and it comes out looking like weird blue undertones. So I'm just going to repaint that stuff that we can fix it later. There's also a bit of maybe like under-primed stuff here. I just don't really like the way it looks, so I'm going to do a little bit there. Yeah, I feel like this guy, I feel like I primed this guy pretty quickly, and he's going to need a little bit more just like coverage. So I'm going to do that right now. Another spot back. You probably can't see it inside here without any primer. Really having to be aggressive with the button to feed more paint into this thing. All right. So a little bit more brown on his boot. But aside from that, I think we're ready to move on. Who should we move on to? It's a great question. Let's hit Flash a little bit. Let's get Agent Venom going. So we've got a bunch of stuff here that I had to sort of sneak in that needs to be fixed. There should be no sand color on him. This maybe explains why I haven't painted these guys for a little bit. I have this like backlog of dudes that are like very heavily black and white, and those just are not good colors for these paint markers. Like the speed paint white and speed paint black are just not, they're not why you get into this hobby, to be honest. Like Venom is black and white, pretty much. Domino is black and white, pretty much. I guess it's just those two. Oh yeah, this is the guy where we got his fingers. I've already painted the spot. I have the spot painted. The spot came out pretty good. Spot came out pretty good. Spot, the model of him has him redirecting a he's like his pose is that he's redirecting a missile through his body, which is pretty awesome. That missile keeps breaking off. It's like a really little piece. I guess maybe now that you're challenging me on this spot thing, the issue is not white. The issue is black. So like spot being largely white means that I can add some sort of like light gray lowlights to him to give him a little more of dimensionality. And then I just paint solid black because Spot's black is not meant to be realistic, right? Like Spot's black is meant to be like a hole into another dimension. It's just flat black. So that guy wound up not being a terrible problem. Compared to like Domino, where it's like she's dark and I want to have nuance and texture. So yeah, could I use another type of black? Yes, I have flat blacks that are okay. The problem is when blacks are like on ruffling, rippling bits of cloth or skin or whatever. It's like the issue is really more people that wear very dark uniforms or whatever. Those are sort of a less good fit. And just because they're not a good fit doesn't mean that they don't work. It's just like sometimes painting these guys is fun and sometimes it's sort of a chore. And I find that people wearing lots of dark clothing are often a little bit of a chore. And it's also like they're kind of boring to look at. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, oh, this is sort of an annoying paint to work with. And also, I'm going to get some more coverage on Flash's head. Sort of annoying paint to work with. And also, when you compare this next to a brightly colored person who looks cool, they're going to look kind of bad. Like even if I did a good job, the like black uniforms are just not the most exciting thing to look at. Okay. I'm about to move on from Flash. Oh, I'm going to redo this ring here so I can go back in with gray. So we're just going to back up this boundary a little bit. There we go with the white marker. It's working closer to how I want it to be working right now. With Gundam models, I find that painting blacks mean you lose out on making little panel line details pop. Yeah, the distinction that I draw here is that I've got these transparent speed paint markers, and then I have these opaque AK interactive markers. And the AKs are much better at black, but they lose all nuance. They lose all like detail. So like I'm going to love using the opaque AK marker for something like, for instance, Dark Child's sword, like that peach color. It's flat. It has nothing going on in it, and it like will stand out from the speed paintedness of the rest of the model in a way that will be cool. But it's just like it's a different texture. I gotta see if this thing is about to pop off. Yeah, my mic stand is threatening to fall off of my desk right now, which is cool. I think if I just don't touch it, it'll be okay, and then I'll fix it later. Okay, we're done with Flash. Let's see, who do we move on to? I guess we move on to Betsy. Betsy's got this like weird thing happening with her base. Most of the bases in this game are like the same. They're just people standing on like dirt or stone or something. But she's got like a weird ethereal she's got like a weird ethereal forest landscape she's walking on. And the bad news is that this forest landscape that she's walking on includes a lot of green. And stop me if you've heard this one before. But green is not the best color. Like green is not great because these speed paints, again, the more layers you do of them, the closer they get to the color of like the paint in the tube. So this is a light green that I'm almost out of here. I'll be okay for this, but I need to redo them eventually. This green will go on light, and then you throw a second layer on it, and it turns black. So green is extremely like, do it right the first time color. So we gotta figure out what we're doing here. She's got like, I'm trying to figure, it's a little hard. This picture that I'm looking at is not a top-down picture. So I have to sort of leave something to my imagination. She's got a bunch of flowers and she's got a bunch of vines. Nothing that I'm seeing tells me that there's anything else going on here. So I think what I'm going to be doing is just trying to see where flowers are, and I'm going to try to do everything else green. This is maybe too light a green, but I would much rather do, this is wood that she's standing on here. This is like a tree stump or something. I'd rather do a too light a green and then figure it out. And the other thing is the green like gets off of the tip so quickly. I like have to re-wet this marker tip like constantly. Okay, so I'm exposing some flowers. I'm gonna have to go in and white out some of these flowers and redo them. The painting in the demonstration shows like a lot of weird ethereal green coloring on the tree stump. I think I gotta be honest with myself. I don't think that's happening. I think this tree stump is gonna be brown. I think the color I'd like to draw this color of this tree stump is more brown than like weird ethereal green. So that's just kind of the way that's going to go. Yeah, this marker dries out so fast. It just like doesn't flow very well. So I basically need to shake it so much that I'm treating the cap like an inkwell. I'm sort of dipping it into the inkwell like it's a fountain pen. That's not how fountain pens work. Don't check me. I don't need to hear from you that that's not how fountain pens work. Yeah, this is I feel like this model is going to be tricky, and when it comes out, it's going to look good. Whereas I feel like Domino, I have some concerns about the eventual outcome of the Domino model. We'll see. But I think Betsy's going to look cool because I think this is a great model. I don't know if you can see here. It's like got a super dynamic pose. Her hair is going to be like pink. She's got all these crazy colors. It's going to like really pop, I think. See what I mean about the pink the green when you put it on a little thicker, it just goes straight to black. It's very difficult to get a consistent green with these paint markers. And you see like I just did a touch up right there. And it's a very different color. So it's like pretty much time for me to move on from this green. And I'm just double checking to make sure that everything that I want to get painted here, I'm getting painted here. I'm gonna have to white out before I do this, before I do these flowers. But I feel comfortable moving on to do the wood right now. So I've got 2 browns. I got 2 browns that I can do wood with. Actually, I might have a third. There's maybe my least used color was from the original set of speed paint markers that I got. This desolate brown. It's brownish green, and I think this may be the rare instance, this tree trunk, where I can sort of bleed that in a little bit, and yeah, that works. The thing that I was worried about with my main brown that I use is just that it was gonna like be too vivid a color. It was gonna have too much like saturation, and as such, it was gonna like draw attention away from. Oh, and this tip is great. This is not a bad marker. It's just not a color that I use that often. And we can do a little bit of mixing down here on the where the vines are to get some of that like ethereal forest vibe. The fecundity of nature, if you get what I'm saying. But yeah, I think that this is I think this is like actually a perfect fit for this. And I'm very, very glad to have this color because this is going to work out better than what I thought we were going to do. So that's great. Oh no! What character is this? This is, I believe this is Betsy Braddock as Captain Britain. There are a few Betsy Braddocks up in this piece. Maybe there aren't a few Betsy Braddocks up in this piece. There are definitely a couple of Captain Britons. I've got Brian Braddock as Captain Britain, whom I've already painted. I feel like this is the look that she has in Krakoa. I didn't read a ton of Krakoa stuff, but I believe there's like an Excalibur series that she is the lead in, where it's like her team, it's her and Apocalypse, maybe. This stuff should not be a brown eventually, but I didn't paint it green, and I'm just going to paint it brown to see if I can get away with it. I may eventually be doing this brown on top of that green to do some low lights. I'm doing kind of a second impromptu layer of this brown right here at the bottom, just to try to get some kind of like a shadow going. Like I kind of like the way this brown looks on when you put a second layer on it, where it feels like it's sort of darker. Maybe there's like moisture coming up from the ground, and then it gives way to a more bleached out kind of look. It's minor, but I feel like the deal with painting miniatures is you got to find minor things that work. And I'm loving it. I love the way this stump looks. I am so stump pilled right now. Krakoa stuff seemed kind of dumb. Yeah, I don't know. I read the beginning of it and was like shocked at how sci-fi-ish it was. Like Jonathan Hickman, the sense that I get every time I read his books, I'm just like, oh, this guy just likes writing about grander sort of reality, like tweaking weirdness than I am accustomed to. There are 2 main Krakoa books that lead into the thing. It's called House of X is one of them, and Powers of 10 is the other. Both of those are like mind-bending science fiction in different ways. And I think they're cool. Like, I think those 2 books on their own are fun books to read, even if you're not interested in the rest of what's happening. Like, even if you just want to read those 2 and then jump out, I think that that's fine. We're going to switch back to Darkchild. I think that it's time to do the most harrowing thing that we can do, which is skin tone. Skin tones, when I do them, often come out looking, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, bad. They often come out looking really bad. I find managing this peachy flesh marker that I'm messing with right now, I find managing this marker to be difficult. I find skin tone to be like low tolerance for mistakes. Like if it's wrong, people are like, that model looks bad. So it's kind of the high wire act of this thing, and I don't have a ton of confidence right now about how this dark child is going to go because the shapes of her skin are so wild. Like this little bit of skin on her arm, you know, the skin on her face, and this like very deep chin that she has down there. This boundary on her. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. But I think it's time. We're gonna give it a shot. It's not gonna be perfect, and that's okay. This marker is looking very, very saturated to me right now in a way that makes me anxious. I would like it to be lighter. Sometimes it is lighter, sometimes it's darker. Today, it is darker. Getting the shape around her eye right is very difficult and very important. I meant to keep her lips a little bit more clear than I did. They came out covered, not the end of the world. She looks extremely orange to me. Hopefully when she dries, she won't look quite so orange. This is a difficult model. Finding this to be quite challenging. But why do we fall? So that we can get back up again. Batman Begin. Okay. Is that all of her skin? Did I do it? Maybe there's like a little bit back here. It's not the end of the world. It's not awful. It doesn't look exactly how I want it to. But it's okay. I've seen worse things. I don't think there's skin up there. I don't know. I'm gonna roll with it. Okay. We're gonna move on from Ileana here. To whom, you ask? Well, I'll tell you. To Domino. We're going back to Domino, and I think we're gonna white out mistakes. Yes. Yes, we are. Skin tones are tough, and I just have them in the bottle. I have 2 skin tones for lighter skin people. I have a peachy flesh, and I have a Crusader skin. Maybe she should have gotten Crusader skin. If you do Crusader skin super light, it comes out very, very white. You know, in my mind, Ileana is like a blonde Russian lady. She should have very light skin. That's not what I got. That's not what happened. That's not what we're looking at here. So I don't know. It's something that we'll keep an eye on as we move deeper into the thing. But right now we're moving into mistake fixing territory. And that means that I'm just going to take another close look at this reference art I have, and we're going to figure it out. Okay, so these are brown leather straps. So we got to get rid of those. This black on her face needs to go. Squeak, squeak. Yeah, I've got to get her skin good. Especially since she has like white skin. I don't really know. Okay, never mind. That's a brown leather strap going into a pink shoulder pad. So that's got to be fixed. these paint markers the speed paints are really bad at doing hard boundaries because they want to run over. They want to get everywhere. They want to bleed. So these high contrast transitions like black hair into white skin are difficult. They require some attention. Okay, this here is a brown strap and a pink, what's the word I'm looking for? Sorry, excuse me. A brown strap and a pink shoulder pad. Her back, I missed some black on. So I'm going to fix that now. Because I didn't want to miss anything. So I believe all of this should be black. And this area back here should be black too. Okay. Fine. Back to the white. So I'm going to stay away from her back for a little while because that's drying. Just trying to get the boundary between the black half of her tights to the white half of her tights, trying to get it clean. Came out kind of okay without being fixed. But this will help push it over the top a little bit. These little leather pouches, like a million comic characters, just have a bunch of little baggies. Those are going to come out looking good, I think. Masking them with the white and then hitting them with brown or whatever it is. And then they often have these little buttons on them that I can just like do just a little pinprick of metallic on. And it's those little details. It's little metallic buttons and that kind of stuff. Really go a long way to making a model look good. It's not the first thing you notice, but I think you do notice it sort of like subconsciously. If there's a bunch of little metallic buttons and they're all painted, you're kind of like, oh, nice. This one looks good. You know what I mean? Do you get that? Do people agree with me? Is this thing on? Just kidding. So I'm running up against the part that I just painted. I sort of want to leave that be. This little patch here in the middle of her back that I just painted, I think is fine. I don't think it's going to contaminate the brush too much. This gun is going to be metal and doesn't need any more attention. This sentinel finger that she's standing on is also going to be painted in an opaque paint, so I'm not too worried about it. But I'll touch it up a little bit just to make it so I don't need to do multiple layers of that purple or whatever it's going to be. Doing a little bit more white. So we can come in with browns next, maybe. That black I just did as an emergency fix is pretty much dry at this point. Got another brown strap here. That strap goes all the way around under her arm. So I've got to do that. That, I believe, is going to be a cool looking detail when it gets done. Oh yeah, the strap on her front needs some attention. I'm turning a corner on this model. I think she's going to be cool looking. It's pretty lukewarm on her at first, but I think it's going to be good. The underside of these shoulder pads, pay a little more attention to. There's a brown strap coming through here. That should be black, so I'm not going to go over it. Do a little bit more to clean up this boundary with her hair, which I think is going to be a big deal detail on this model. I've got some more brown areas that need better masking. Strap on her leg. Whatever the hell this is back here. There's a little pouch under her arm that I haven't even touched at all that needs some attention. Gotta make sure these pouches all have sides that are covered up. Yeah, I'm feeling kind of optimistic. I think that might be what I can do for her right now. All right. We're going to move on from Domino. And who do we go to now? Maybe to Sam? Sam Wilson, Captain America? Yeah. Let's do that. Let's see. He's got metallic wings with like red metallic flare underneath. The biggest problem area for him is going to be the shield because there's so much detail there. And then the red on the wings because there's so much like crevice there. So we're going to do the red first. I was tempted for a moment to do the red in a flat, in like an opaque acrylic, like the with the AKA play markers, but I think that there are too many details in here. Like, take a look at this stuff. Like, there are all these little nooks and crannies, like these little detail lines and stuff. Doing it flat is going to be cool to make it look more robotic or whatever. but I think we're going to lose too much of the cool nuances of the little cracks and stuff, and it's going to make it look really, really flat. So we're just going to roll with the speed paint marker. And if that means that this thing is a little bit blotchy looking, that's okay. I'll take blotchiness over over losing the details. So we're going to go with the red right now. And I think this is going to be cool. I think this is the right choice. I'm going to go see that new Spider-Man movie on Friday. Very excited. A little matinee screening. Okay, so this, it's like the red works its way up into the silver, I think. Oh, all of this is red. Never mind. We're just going to paint this all red. Okay, the silver starts here. I don't mind having a rough boundary with the silver because the silver is opaque. And so if I go over with the red, it's not a big deal. So that's all fine. I'd like to paint the red quickly to get fewer like brush stroke looking parts in. I like the red to look, the red spreads out very quickly. The red can be a really easy, really good color to use. But I kind of want to do it all in one fell swoop to use a bird metaphor. Got a little bit of a disjunction between the model and the reference painting. It looks as though this model changed a little bit between when they were selling the game in mass production. Got a little bit of bone here that I didn't clean up. I guess I forgot to do that. So I've got to do that next. Not a big deal. The red goes over the bone. Fine. But I have a little bit of ambiguity from what I'm seeing on the model and what I'm seeing in the reference, where there's a little bit of confusion on my part about whether some of these panels should be silver or red. As I'm talking it out, I'm sort of reaching the conclusion that I should paint them red because the silver can go over the red very easily. So I'd rather get it wrong in that direction. Rather err on the side of red. Getting a little bit of red on the, oh, I'm getting a little bit of red I've lost my marker tip. Very cool. So that's going to need some attention later. His hand is now red. Should his hand be red? It should. Yes. Okay, I just like don't have a good avenue into this little pouch. This area that I was concerned about turns out to have been the area that I should have been concerned about. They were who we thought they were. I think that's a sports thing that somebody said at like a press conference one time. Okay, this dude has red boots, so let's get that going. Accidentally, oh, this whole thing is coming apart. Oh, man. I'm making a big mess. That needs to be cleaned up later. Very good. Yeah, losing that paint cap was, or the marker tip was not positive ultimately for the quality of this miniature. There's a lot of parts here now that I would like to not be red, that are sadly quite red. But that's a problem for future me to answer, so. Okay, this dude has these like gloves that seem to just be red all the way around. I don't have a great sense of like what this little armor thing on his wrist looks like. So I'm going to paint it red. Just going to do the whole thing red. So you can see we've got a real problem down here on the tons of red getting on the bone. Not awesome. Correctly identified red as the problem color. One of those like spots underneath his wing is so hard to get to that I think there's a chance I will not get to it. It may just remain unpainted. Having a little bit of trouble just getting around my camera. Just doing my best. His other hand is also red and has red straps connecting it to the shield. The shield is almost certainly going to be painted in opaque paint to make it look less like lifelike. I'm again losing the stick from this thing. I gotta redo this. Things are really, the wheels are coming off the wagon with this guy. Trying to re-stick him to get him to actually stay on. Okay. Yeah, this is really bad. Let's see. He's got some red and white stripes on his stomach. So as long as we've got the red out. This is another like very fine boundary sort of situation, so it's going to need a lot of fixing. Where else does he have red? I think that's it. I think. All right. Well, that was a bloodbath. And with all that said, I think it might be time for me to close this stream up. Let me just knock over my camera real quick. Hold on a second. Okay. Let's take a look at what we've done. Okay, let's just do one quick run through of where everything landed. Here we go. Let's push this back. There we go. Here's where we are. This is where we're leaving off. Sam Wilson, promising start, and we need to fix a whole bunch of stuff, but he's on the way. Next up, Domino, I think is going to be really cool. I think the black came out looking good. I think that we've got our boundaries looking pretty good. Going to be good. Betsy Braddock, Captain Britain, I think is going to get there. These flowers that I'm going to paint, the spots that are white on the base, are going to be an issue. But I really love how that how the stump came out, and I'm very excited about that. Darkchild is, we've got skin tone problems, but I don't think they're resolvable. I think she's gonna look okay. I think it's gonna be all right. And then we got Agent Venom. Basically, all we've got from him is this rock that he's standing on, but it's a cool-looking rock. We like the rock. And that's it for me. Hi, goodbye. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for trying out this dual camera stream for the first time. Hope you have the remainder of your day and the rest of your week. And I hope you had fun hanging out with me